In this video, I'm going to share with you a pretty interesting indicator that will help you earn money automatically. There's nothing complicated about it. I'll show you all the settings and how to use it. So, after watching this video, you'll be able to apply all the settings and simply start making money with it. So let's get straight to this indicator. To add this indicator, we need to go to the indicator section and type in FlexiMA. The first indicator that comes up is the one we need, so we add it, and there's nothing we need to configure. Big thanks to the creator. Everything is already perfectly set up for us. So we just click OK, and now we can get started. We'll have 4 entry points to work with. We'll have 2 entry points from the middle line, and 1 entry point each from the outer boundaries. So here, the super trend shows us the current direction of the movement. And we also have our middle line. This is a moving average, and we can work with it very confidently. Let's look example with this indicator right away. And yes, all of this works on the TradingView platform. Look, here we have the Canadian dollar and Japanese yen. Let's even switch to the platform. Select this currency pair, and let's open a buy trade for, say, $750 right from here. So what's happening here? Look, first of all, there was a good upward movement here. So we can see that the super trend is blue, or in other words, that's a buy signal. Next, let's break it down. The price touched the middle boundary. So here we have a middle line. We have 0, and accordingly, from this 0 we get a bounce. And now we can enter a buy position. In other words, this means that the price is going to rise. So once again, our super trend is showing buy, which means we open a buy trade, and our entry point will be from the middle line. That is, the indicator values touch this line. And from here we can confidently open a buy trade for 1 minute, 2 minutes, or even 3 minutes. Well, let's watch this trade. An excellent first trade brings me $577. Not bad. Let's move on. But first, I want to remind you, if you want to copy the trades of our professional traders, then write to our support account with the phrase, "I want to become an elite member." The team will add you to our channel, and you'll be able to copy the signals from our professional traders. In short, the link will be in the description. All these signals are available to our community, so follow the link, send the code phrase, and start copying our signals. You can see the results right now on your screen. In fact, our stats are pretty good. We're getting about 70, sometimes even 80% positive trades. Let's look at another example, and then I'll show you situations where it's better not to trade, the ones you should skip. So to start, we're looking for a situation where at least 2 factors come together. Right now, there aren't any such situations. If there aren't such situations, then first, let's open a sell trade on this currency pair right away. So, if you see no touches of either the upper boundary of the super trend or the lower one, and the price isn't touching our 0 line, then we use entry points that aren't as safe, but still work. So here, we need to figure out where the super trend is pointing. For example, here it's telling us to sell, and, accordingly, you should find the area where the price, or rather the value, is above 0. That is, they're in the buying zone. So, the market is currently oversaturated with buyers, and we need to move a bit lower. So with this method, you need to practice a bit to understand how it works. It's quite a time-consuming activity, since we might spend up to 2 or even 3 hours on it. But if you practice specifically with this method, you'll be able to clearly understand where you should enter trades and where you shouldn't. So always be careful with this. So this is more of an alternative, but for people who already have at least some experience. Once again, if our super trend indicator shows a sell signal, we need to wait for the moving average values to go above the 0 line, and vice versa. So if we want to open a buy trade, we need to wait until the moving average values go below the 0 line. That's when we open a buy trade. So this is an alternative approach. Now, let's look at situations that are better to skip. There are actually quite a lot of them. And if you see a situation like this, where the price is constantly moving within a range and basically staying in one place, it's better to skip these situations. Yes, there are clear sideways movements, but if you're not sure, just skip it. If you see, for example, that the values are rising, the super trend is signaling buy, and the moving average is above, then we also skip these situations, because in this case, we need to look for entry points directly on the chart. If at some point you notice that the line dips slightly below, then from that point you can enter a buy position. But if everything, for example, is blue, we skip this situation. And if everything is red, meaning there is a downward movement, until the price gives us some kind of confirmation and we have a sell signal from the super trend and the moving average is also below in the red zone, then we also skip such situations. Let's look at another example. So look, by the way, dollar, Canadian dollar. Here, our indicator is already showing that we're too deep in the oversold zone. So what do? We select the currency pair dollar, Canadian dollar. Let's find it. Where is it on my list? I can't find this currency pair. There, I found it. Dollar, Canadian dollar. And right from here, we can open a buy trade. So what's happening here? Our super trend is telling us that we are moving upward. In other words, there's a good upward movement. All right, let's keep looking. Here, red lines have started to appear. So, starting from about here, we can open a buy trade. Accordingly, if you're not sure, you can open a trade, say, for 1.5 or 2 minutes. If you see that this is the middle line, for example, let's mark this as the 0 line. If the moving average is already crossing above this line, then that's actually the perfect entry point from which you can enter confidently. But we also have a hint from this indicator here, which is that red lines have started to appear. That means the price is moving a bit into oversold territory. So you could open a trade, but it's not a very safe method. And most likely, I'm going to take a loss now, unfortunately. Yeah, so I rushed a bit. And because of my haste, I lost $750. That's why I don't recommend rushing anywhere. It's better to wait for entry points. Alright, now I'm going to cover this loss with a trade for $1,500. Maybe on this currency pair, maybe on another one. The next currency pair is euro dollar. So here we see a perfect situation. Let's open a sell trade right from here. And what can we observe here? Look, we have our super trend indicator, which is currently telling us to sell. We can see that clearly. It's showing a red value. That means we have a sell signal. Next, let's take a look. Here's our moving average line. Let's draw it from here. And what do we see? The value of the moving average is approaching this middle line, and we immediately open a sell trade. So, there's nothing complicated about this indicator. The most important thing is to practice, and then you'll start to get the hang of it. An excellent final trade brings me $1,100. I cover my loss. And as you can see, the indicator really works great, so make sure to practice. If there's something you don't understand, write to our managers right away. You can also send examples with charts right away, and together we'll figure out what works well and what doesn't, which situations are better to trade, and which ones are best to skip. Also, just a reminder, through the link in the description, you can message our managers and join our private community, where you can copy our signals and also connect your account to our managers. In general, I'm leaving all the useful links in the description. If something isn't clear, or if you have any questions, just write in the comments or contact our support account managers. Also, subscribe to this channel and give it a like, and I'll see you in the next videos. See you soon!